When you hear the words Judgment Day, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's probably images of, I don't know, fire, fear, some kind of final scary verdict, right? Well, today we're going to look at a perspective that completely flips that on its head. It's a view that's not about fear at all, but about, believe it or not, profound peace and purification. So let's really get into this. We all have this kind of built-in idea of what a final reckoning is supposed to be. But what if? And this is a big what if. What if it's not something that happens to us from the outside? What if it's actually an internal awakening, something that every single one of us goes through on a deep personal level? Yeah, the truth might be completely different from anything you've imagined. This perspective we're digging into today suggests that Judgment Day is way less about punishment and way more about a universal, collective healing process. Honestly, it's a pretty wild and fascinating idea when you think about it. All right, so to really wrap our heads around this big idea, we're going to break it down. We'll start with this new way of understanding Judgment Day. Then we'll look at the transformation of our bodies and souls. After that, we'll get into the big moment, the realization of karma. Then the soul purification process itself. And finally, we'll see where it all leads, to a state of supreme peace. Okay, first things first, a whole new understanding of Judgment Day. So let's totally reframe this. Forget everything you've seen in movies, the big courtroom in the sky. This view describes Judgment Day as a deeply internal process. It's a great awakening where every single soul finally gets to purify itself. It really is a moment of truth. But guess what? The judge is you. So, how does something like this even happen? Well, for this great awakening to take place, a couple of really foundational shifts have to occur first. And we're not just talking about changing your mind about a few things. Nope. This is about a fundamental transformation of our very being, both our physical bodies and our souls. Let's take a look at what that means. First up is the physical side of things. The body itself slowly transforms into this state called, and I'll say it carefully, Param Vayu Tattva. Now, what is that? Well, the best way to think about it is like a kind of evolutionary upgrade. It's as if our physical form is being refined, becoming a lighter, more subtle version of what it is now. Okay, so while the body is going through its upgrade, the soul is also entering a new state. This one is called Param Shanti. And let me tell you, this isn't just feeling calm or relaxed. We're talking about a state of absolute supreme peace. I mean, just try to imagine a tranquility so deep, so profound that it becomes the new normal for everyone. That would fundamentally change everything, right? How we see the world, how we see each other, everything. All right, so you've got the body transformed and the soul in a state of supreme peace. Now, the main event can begin. This is the moment it's all been leading up to, a moment of total, complete awareness, like the full, unedited director's cut playback of all our actions. The name for this experience is Sakshat Karan. And the scale of this thing is just immense. We are not just talking about a highlight reel of this one life. No. Every single soul will directly witness everything. Every good deed, every bad deed, from countless past lives. Can you even imagine that? It's this moment of total, raw, unfiltered self-awareness. There are no secrets, nothing is hidden. So you've just seen everything you've ever done. What happens next? Well, that total awareness, it naturally kicks off a really deep cleansing process. And again, this isn't a punishment coming from somewhere else. It's a purification that starts from the inside out. Let's break down how that actually works. It's basically a 4-step journey. Step 1 is what we just talked about, that complete, total realization of all your past karma. Step 2, from that realization, a deep, really genuine feeling of repentance emerges. And that feeling, that repentance, is powerful. It acts like a cleansing fire, just burning away all the gunk we've accumulated, negative thoughts, painful memories, all those toxic feelings. And what's left after the fire? The soul, restored to its original, pure, and sacred state. And this purification causes a massive psychological shift. It's a total before and after situation. Before, you've got the soul kind of weighed down by attachments to things like wealth and status. But after this process, all that stuff we chase, money, power, possessions, it just loses its grip. The soul has this profound realization of how temporary and, well, futile it all is. And from that, a natural sense of detachment just happens. So let's just pause and picture this for a second. What is a world filled with purified souls? Souls that are detached from all that material stuff and are all experiencing supreme peace. What does that world even look like? This right here is where the whole idea of Judgment Day gets turned upside down, from fear into universal harmony. Okay, so we're in the final phase, and it's all about total, radical transparency. With this full awareness of their past deeds, people just openly confess everything to everyone. There's no more hiding, no more secrets. They just own their past completely and ask everyone for forgiveness. But here's where it gets really mind-blowing. I mean, really think about this. You have people openly confessing all the bad things they've ever done. You'd expect anger, right? A desire for revenge? But get this, the source is explicit. In no one's heart will there be anger or a feeling of revenge, not in a single person. That's astounding. So why? How is that even possible? Well, it all comes back to that state of param shanti we talked about earlier. Remember? Supreme peace. When every single person is experiencing that deep level of inner peace and detachment, the impulse for revenge, it just vanishes. It doesn't even make sense anymore. And so forgiveness isn't a struggle. It becomes effortless, universal, absolute. So this whole vision of Judgment Day, it's not an ending at all, is it? It's a brand new beginning, one built on truth, on repentance, and on this incredible peace. And it leaves us with a really powerful thought to chew on. If this state of supreme peace is the ultimate destination for everyone, what's stopping us from trying to cultivate just a little piece of that in our own hearts, right here, right now?